At 7:47 p.m., I sent Lisa the first text. Emergency at the Phoenix office. Need to discuss numbers tonight. When will you be home? No response. 8:23 p.m. Lisa, this is urgent. Client pulled 2 contract. Need your input on damage control. Nothing. 8:45 p.m. Called your office. They said you left at 6. Where are you? 9:15 p.m. Starting to worry. Please respond. 9:52 p.m. This isn't like you. Call me. 10:30 p.m. Lisa, seriously, pick up your phone. 11:08 p.m. I'm getting concerned. Are you okay? 11:45 p.m. Your location sharing is off. Turn it back on. 12:22 a.m. This is ridiculous. I've called 8 times. 1:15 a.m. I know you're seeing these. Your read receipts are on. 1:48 a.m. Last text. Either you respond or I handle this Phoenix situation myself. 2:03 a.m. Sorry, very busy with work. We'll be home in morning. I stared at that message for a full minute. 11 texts over 6 hours, genuine emergency at my biggest territory, and that's what I got back. Very busy with work at 2:03 in the morning, on a Tuesday. But here's the thing about being a regional sales director for medical equipment for 15 years. You develop instincts sharper than surgical steel. You learn to read between the lines, spot inconsistencies faster than a defective heart monitor, track patterns like a GPS system. And this pattern stank worse than expired surgical supplies. I'm Austin Parker, 37 years old, and I've built my career on details. When you're selling $500,000 MRI machines to hospitals across 3 states, you don't survive by missing the fine print. Every contract, every delivery schedule, every payment plan, it all comes down to precision. Trust but verify, document everything, and never assume good faith when the numbers don't add up. My marriage had just failed the audit. I walked to the living room window of our penthouse apartment on the 23rd floor. Panoramic view of downtown Phoenix, city lights stretching to the mountains like scattered diamonds. Perfect sightline to the parking garage entrance below, where residents' vehicles sat in neat rows like evidence in a crime scene. Lisa's white BMW gleamed under the security lights in spot 23B, exactly where it belonged. I checked my watch, 2:05 a.m. According to the building app on my phone, one of those fancy smart building systems that tracked everything from package deliveries to gym usage, her key card had been used to enter the garage at 10:47 p.m. She'd been downstairs this whole time while I'd been texting myself into a panic about her safety. 10 minutes after her busy with work text, I heard the elevator chime in our hallway. Soft footsteps on the marble floor, careful and deliberate. A gentle knock on our door, the kind you make when you're trying not to wake the neighbors at 2:15 in the morning. I sat in my leather recliner, remote in hand, watching a late-night poker tournament with the volume barely audible. ESPN Classic was running some World Series of Poker marathon, and I found the methodical betting strategies oddly comforting. Players calculating odds, reading tells, making decisions based on incomplete information. I didn't move toward the door. The knocking got more insistent. Still soft, but with an edge of desperation creeping in. "Austin?" Lisa's voice muffled through the heavy wood. "Austin, please, I know you're awake." More knocking. Not pounding, she was too smart for that. Too aware that we lived in a building where sound carried and neighbors talked. This was the controlled panic of someone who knew they were caught, but couldn't quite admit it yet. "Austin, come on. My keycard isn't working." I muted the poker tournament completely. In the silence, I could hear her breathing against the door, heavy and nervous. Could hear her shifting weight from foot to foot, probably checking her phone, maybe texting someone about the technical difficulties she was experiencing. "I can explain everything. Please just let me in." I reached for my glass of Woodford Reserve, the good bourbon I kept for closing big deals and special occasions. This felt like both. The amber liquid caught the light from the city below, and I took a slow, deliberate sip while my wife continued her performance in the hallway. She tried her keycard again. I could hear the electronic beep followed by the mechanical whir of a lock refusing to engage. Of course it refused. I'd called building security at 1:30 a.m., right after I'd finished documenting the timeline of her disappearing act. Temporary access restriction due to maintenance on the electronic lock system, I'd told the night security supervisor, a guy named Rodriguez who knew me as the tenant who always tipped well at Christmas and never caused problems. Unit 23A needs the secondary key card deactivated until morning. Primary resident request. Sometimes being the primary leaseholder and having a professional relationship with building staff pays dividends you never expected to collect. Austin, this is getting ridiculous. I'm exhausted and I just want to come home. Home. Interesting choice of words from someone who'd been parked in the garage for 3.5 hours while claiming to be busy with urgent work matters. She tried the keycard 3 more times. Each electronic rejection sounded like a tiny verdict being rendered. Guilty, guilty, guilty. By 2:45 a.m., the knocking stopped. I heard her phone buzz with an incoming text, followed by the soft ping of an outgoing message. Then the elevator chimed again, and the hallway fell silent. I finished my bourbon and opened my laptop. See, when you manage medical equipment sales across Arizona, New Mexico, and Nevada, you develop certain professional skills that translate beautifully to personal situations. Territory mapping becomes location tracking. Client relationship management becomes pattern recognition. Expense monitoring becomes financial investigation. And resource allocation becomes strategic planning. Most importantly, you learn that every transaction leaves a trail, and every trail tells a story if you know how to read it. Lisa Parker, 34 years old, marketing manager at Premier Hotel Group for the past 3 years. Salary, $78,000 annually plus performance bonuses. Mother to our 8-year-old son Dylan, who was currently asleep in his bedroom down the hall, blissfully unaware that his parents' marriage was being dissected in real time. When Lisa and I met 7 years ago at a medical conference in Vegas, she was coordinating hospitality for the event. I was there selling imaging equipment to cardiac specialists. We'd bonded over our shared appreciation for systematic approaches to complex problems. She organized events like military campaigns. I closed deals like chess matches. We both respected precision. Apparently, she'd been applying that same systematic approach to deception. I spent the next 2 hours building what I privately called the Lisa file. Credit card statements going back 4 months, downloaded from our joint account portal. Her expense reports from Premier Hotel Group's online employee system. She'd given me her login credentials 2 years ago when she was out of town and needed me to submit a late report. Location data from the time she'd forgotten to turn off sharing on her iPhone. Social media activity cross-referenced with claimed work events. The numbers told a story that would make a forensic accountant weep with professional admiration. Lisa claimed to work late 3 nights per week for client cultivation, industry speak for whining and dining potential corporate accounts. Premier Hotel Group encouraged this. Luxury hospitality was built on relationships, and relationship building happened over expensive meals and carefully curated experiences. Every Tuesday, strategic dinner with potential corporate clients at Harvest Moon, an upscale farm-to-table restaurant in Old Town Scottsdale. Every Thursday, marketing mixer with hospitality industry contacts at the same Harvest Moon. Every Saturday, weekend brunch strategy session with key team members, also at Harvest Moon. Harvest Moon, executive chef and part owner, Brandon Mills. 34 years old, never married, graduate of the Culinary Institute of America, with stages at restaurants in New York and San Francisco before opening his Arizona flagship 18 months ago. His Instagram profile showcased artfully plated dishes, behind-the-scenes kitchen shots, and an increasing frequency of posts featuring exclusive VIP dining experiences for select guests. I pulled up Harvest Moon's website and cross-referenced their chef's table experience pricing with Lisa's expense reports. The numbers aligned with surgical precision. March 15th, Lisa's expense report claimed $340 for dinner meeting with Marriott Regional Director regarding potential group bookings. Her credit card showed $340 charged to Harvest Moon at 8:47 p.m. But here's where my sales background paid dividends. I maintain professional relationships across the hospitality industry for my medical equipment business. Hotel administrators buy MRI machines and CT scanners too. One phone call to Marriott's corporate office revealed that their regional director had been in Orlando that entire week for a company conference. I had the conference agenda, the hotel booking confirmation, and his LinkedIn post from that evening showing him at a Disney World event with his family. March 22nd, team building dinner with Premier Group marketing staff, $290 at Harvest Moon. I visited Premier's corporate website and studied their employee directory. Their marketing department consisted of exactly 3 people, Lisa and 2 20-something assistants named Rebecca and Josh. A quick check of their public Instagram accounts showed Rebecca at a Taylor Swift concert that same evening and Josh posting from a Phoenix Suns game. March 29th, April 5th, April 12th, April 19th. The pattern was pristine, methodical, and completely fraudulent. Each expense report claimed legitimate business purposes. Each credit card charge showed dinner for two at Harvest Moon with wine pairings, premium cuts of meat, and dessert courses. But the masterpiece was April 19th, the night I'd been in Chicago closing the Henderson Medical Group deal, our biggest account of the quarter. I'd called Lisa at 9 p.m. Chicago time, high on adrenaline from landing a $1.2 million contract for 3 new MRI machines. "Can't talk, honey," she'd said, sounding rushed and professional. "Crisis with the Fairmont account. Emergency dinner meeting to salvage the relationship. I'll call you back when we're done." She never called back. Her credit card showed a $420 charge at Harvest Moon with a timestamp of 10:15 p.m. The itemized receipt, which I could access through our online banking, included champagne, the chef's tasting menu, wine pairings, and 2 desserts. More damning was her Instagram activity that night. Her main account showed nothing, but she'd forgotten that I was still connected to her backup account that she used for professional networking. At 10:30 p.m., she'd posted a photo of candlelit table settings with the caption, "Sometimes the best business discussions happen over perfect food, #blessed, #work hard, #live well." The geotag showed Harvest Moon. The timestamp showed 30 minutes after she told me she was in an emergency meeting to save a client relationship. By 4:30 a.m., I had everything organized into 3 digital folders: financial evidence, timeline documentation, and corporate response strategy. The financial evidence folder contained 47 pages of documentation, expense reports, credit card statements, bank transaction records, and screenshots of social media posts. The pattern was undeniable. Lisa had been submitting fraudulent business expense claims to cover personal romantic dinners with Brandon Mills. Total fraudulent claims over 3 months, $3,680. Average cost per fake business dinner, $340. Number of actual business associates who could verify these meetings, 0. In my sales career, I'd learned that the difference between suspicion and proof was documentation. Suspicion was emotional. Proof was actionable. I drafted an email to Premier Hotel Group's Human Resources Department, marking it high priority and requesting confidential handling. Subject: confidential report, potential employee expense fraud. Dear HR team, I am writing to report suspected expense account fraud by one of your marketing managers. As a fellow business professional in the medical equipment industry, I believe you should be aware of this situation before it escalates further. I have documented evidence of approximately $3,680 in falsified business dinner claims over a 3-month period. The employee has been submitting expense reports for alleged client meetings that can be independently verified as personal activities. I am prepared to provide detailed documentation including receipts, timeline evidence, and proof that the claimed business contacts were not present at the reported meetings. I believe this constitutes a serious violation of corporate expense policy and potential fraud. Please let me know the appropriate next steps for submitting this information confidentially. Respectfully, Austin Parker, Regional Sales Director, MedTech Solutions Southwest. I scheduled the email to send at 9 a.m. sharp. Then I called Jason Reed, my closest friend since our MBA program at Arizona State and current fellow sales director at MedTech Solutions. Jason was the kind of man who'd loan you his truck, help you move furniture, or provide alibi surveillance at 5 a.m. without asking too many questions first. Austin? Christ, what time is it? Early. I need a favor and I need it today. Talk to me. Can you swing by Harvest Moon restaurant tonight around 8? Old Town, Scottsdale. Sit at the bar, order dinner, keep your eyes open. If you see Lisa with someone who isn't me, observe and text me what you see. Don't engage, don't make contact. A pause. Jesus, man, you think she's... I know she is. I just need third-party documentation. Consider it handled. You want me to bring backup? Just you. Professional observation only. I sent a text to my assistant Monica. Taking Wednesday off. Handle the Morrison medical call, reschedule Phoenix Children's Hospital meeting to Thursday afternoon. Emergency family matter. Monica had worked with me for 4 years. She knew I never took unscheduled time off unless someone was in the hospital or dying. She'd handle everything without questions and probably send flowers to whoever she assumed was sick. Then I showered, made coffee, and prepared for what sales training calls the difficult conversation with full documentation. Lisa came home at 7:30 a.m., slipping through the door like she was trying not to disturb a sleeping household. I was sitting at our kitchen island, marble countertop, stainless steel appliances, morning sun streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows that showcase the city skyline, picture of domestic success and professional achievement. Morning, I said without looking up from the Wall Street Journal. The business section had an interesting article about healthcare technology acquisitions that I was genuinely reading while monitoring her movements in my peripheral vision. "Oh, you're up early." She dropped her designer purse by the entry table, avoiding direct eye contact. Body language screaming guilt and exhaustion. "I stayed at Miranda's last night. My keycard was acting up." Miranda Hayes, our neighbor from 21B, divorced pharmaceutical sales rep, definitely the type Lisa would recruit for alibi purposes, the kind of woman who'd lie for a friend without asking for details. "Card trouble," I repeated, turning a page with deliberate calm. "That's frustrating." "Yeah, the building really should upgrade their electronic system. It's always glitching." I nodded thoughtfully, like a man considering the technical challenges of modern building security rather than the logistics of his wife's deception. "Expensive upgrade, probably. Good thing you had somewhere to go." She moved toward our bedroom. "I should shower. Long day ahead." "Lisa." She froze mid-step, something in my tone. Not angry, not accusatory, just focused. The tone I used when closing contracts worth millions of dollars. "What time did your work event end last night?" A pause. I could almost hear the calculations running through her mind, weighing variables, trying to construct a story that would satisfy my question without contradicting any previous statements. "Around midnight. You know how these client dinners run long when you're trying to build relationships." "Right. And Miranda was awake at midnight to let you crash at her place?" Another pause, longer this time. "She's a night owl, works late herself." I folded the newspaper precisely and looked at her directly for the first time since she'd walked in. Eye contact was important in sales. It conveyed confidence, sincerity, and the unshakable belief that you had all the information necessary to make informed decisions. "So, when you texted me at 2:03 a.m. saying you were busy with work, you were actually at Miranda's apartment?" Her face went pale. The text was delayed. "I sent it earlier, but it didn't go through until later." "iPhone timestamps don't lie, Lisa. They're synchronized with cell tower data." She sat down heavily at the kitchen island, directly across from me. For a moment I thought she might confess, come clean. Give us something honest to work with instead of this elaborate performance piece. Instead, she doubled down with the desperation of someone who'd invested too much in a lie to abandon it now. "You're being paranoid," she said, trying to inject confidence into her voice. "I've been working my ass off for Premier Group, trying to build something meaningful for our family, and you're treating me like some kind of criminal. I'm treating you like someone who sent her husband 11 ignored texts during a genuine business emergency and then lied about where she spent the night." "I didn't lie. I stayed at Miranda's." I pulled out my phone and called Miranda, putting it on speaker. Sometimes the most effective sales technique is letting the customer hear their own contradictions in real time. "Austin, is everything okay? It's barely 8 a.m. "Sorry to bother you this early, Miranda. Just wanted to thank you for letting Lisa crash at your place last night when her keycard wasn't working." Silence. Long, damning, courtroom quality silence. "I'm sorry, what?" "Lisa wasn't here last night. I was at book club until 10, then went straight to bed." Lisa's face went from pale to gray to something approaching green. "My mistake," I told Miranda, maintaining the same calm tone I'd used to correct a minor error in a contract negotiation. "Must have misunderstood. Thanks for clarifying." I hung up. The kitchen felt like a courtroom after a verdict had been read. "So," I said, setting my phone down with deliberate precision. "Want to try again?" Lisa stared at her hands, fingers trembling slightly. When she finally spoke, her voice had lost all its manufactured confidence. "I was working late, really late. I fell asleep in my office and didn't wake up until after midnight. Your office that happens to be located in our building's parking garage?" She looked up sharply, confusion mixing with the fear in her eyes. "Your car never left the garage last night, Lisa. Building security logs show your keycard accessed the garage at 10:47 p.m. and never logged an exit. Security cameras don't lie." That's when the dam broke. Not into confession, into pure, desperate anger. "You're tracking me now? Checking security cameras? Monitoring my movements like some kind of stalker? What's next? Hiring a private investigator?" "I'm observing patterns," I replied, my voice steady as a cardiac monitor. "Like the fact that your client dinners are always at the same restaurant, always on the same nights, always for identical amounts charged to your company expense account. So what? I found a venue that works well for Premier Group's hospitality needs. Venue owned and operated by Brandon Mills." The name hit her like a physical blow. She actually flinched, her body recoiling as if I'd slapped her. "I don't know what you're implying." I'm not implying anything. I'm stating documented facts. Brandon Mills, executive chef and co-owner of Harvest Moon Restaurant, 34 years old, never married, graduate of the Culinary Institute of America. His Instagram account shows an interesting pattern of exclusive VIP dining experiences that happen to coincide perfectly with your expense report submissions. Lisa stood up abruptly, pacing to the window that overlooked the city we'd built our life in. This is insane. You're being controlling and paranoid and accurate, I finished. Completely, documentably accurate. At 9:05 a.m., my phone chimed with an email notification. Premier Hotel Group's HR director, a woman named Catherine Walsh, had responded to my scheduled message with impressive speed. Thank you for bringing this matter to our attention. Premier Group takes expense fraud extremely seriously and will launch an immediate internal investigation. We may need to interview you as part of our review process. Please hold all documentation in confidence while we conduct our inquiry. I showed Lisa the email, watching her read it twice as her face cycled through disbelief, panic, and finally resignation. You actually sent them my expense reports? I sent them documentation of fraudulent business dinner claims totaling $3,680 over 3 months. What they choose to do with that information is their corporate decision. You're trying to destroy my career. You destroyed your career the moment you started billing personal romantic dinners to your company. I'm simply declining to help cover up financial fraud. She sat down again, this time like a defendant waiting for sentencing. It's not what you think. Enlighten me. A long pause, deep breath. Brandon and we're friends. He's been helping me understand the restaurant industry better so I can serve Premier Group's food service partnerships more effectively. By having wine-paired dinners for 2 with champagne and dessert courses? They weren't romantic. Instagram posts with candlelit tables and captions about work feeling like pleasure suggest otherwise. How did you... She stopped herself, realizing the question revealed more than she intended. Jason's girlfriend is still on your close friends list. She got concerned when she saw you posting romantic dinner photos while I was out of town on business. She mentioned it to Jason, who mentioned it to me. Another silence. This one felt different, heavier, more final. What do you want, Austin? I want honesty. Complete, unflinching honesty, not the performance version you've been giving me for months. She took a deep breath that sounded like surrender. Fine. Brandon and I have been getting to know each other, but it's not a physical affair. We haven't crossed that line. What line exactly? We haven't slept together. Just emotional intimacy, romantic dinners, wine tastings, and late-night conversations while billing it all to your employer as business expenses. It's complicated. It's simple, I said. You've been having an affair. The only question is whether it's emotional, physical, or both. But based on the fact that you were hiding in our parking garage from 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. while texting me lies about being busy with work, I'm confident it's progressed beyond dinner conversations. Austin, here's what's going to happen, I continued, cutting her off with the same tone I used to close million-dollar deals. You're going to call Premier Group this morning and confess to the expense fraud before their investigation reaches conclusions on its own. You're going to reimburse every fraudulent charge with interest. And you're going to tell Brandon Mills that whatever this relationship is ends today. And if I refuse, then you handle the consequences alone. I'll cooperate fully with Premier Group's investigation and provide additional evidence they haven't seen yet. I'll file for divorce with documented proof of adultery and financial fraud. And I'll make sure Dylan understands that his mother chose deception over his family's stability. She stared at me for a long moment, searching my face for some sign that this was negotiable. Some indication that the man she'd married was still available for manipulation. You'd really destroy our family over this? I'm not destroying anything. I'm responding to choices you already made. The family you're worried about losing was damaged the moment you started lying to fund your affair. At 10:30 a.m., Jason texted from Harvest Moon. Place is buzzing with unusual morning activity. Your chef friend looks like he got hit by a truck. Keeps checking his phone and talking intensely with staff. Something's definitely going down. At 11:15 a.m., Lisa called Premier Group's HR department. At 11:47 a.m., she called Brandon Mills. I couldn't hear his side of the conversation, but hers was enough. We can't continue this. I know, but my husband found out. No, we absolutely cannot meet. Brandon, please, it has to be completely over. She hung up and looked at me with something approaching respect for the first time in months. Satisfied? It's a beginning. What else do you want? I want you to understand that trust isn't rebuilt with promises. It's rebuilt with actions over time, with complete transparency and accountability. Meaning your location sharing stays on permanently. Meaning you come home when you say you will, every time. Meaning no more client events that can't be independently verified by actual clients. Meaning you find new restaurants for any legitimate business dinners you have in the future. Those terms are non-negotiable, I finished. Take them, or we proceed directly to divorce proceedings with full financial disclosure. She nodded slowly, like someone accepting a plea bargain. And you'll stay? You'll try to work this out? I'll evaluate your actions over the coming months. But Lisa, this was your last opportunity for deception. There won't be another chance to betray my trust. I understand. 3 weeks later, Premier Hotel Group terminated Lisa for expense fraud and violation of corporate ethics policies. She was required to repay $3,680 plus penalties totaling $1,200. Brandon Mills resigned from Harvest Moon to pursue culinary opportunities in other markets, according to their website announcement. Lisa found a new position with a smaller boutique hotel company, accepting a $15,000 annual pay cut and a probationary period with enhanced expense account monitoring. She spent 2 months sleeping in our guest bedroom while we worked through what she called rebuilding, and I called basic accountability. During those months, I learned something important about myself. I could forgive deception, but I couldn't forget the capacity for it. Every late meeting, every client dinner, every business trip became a test that Lisa had to pass rather than a normal part of professional life. Sometimes she asked if I was happy I'd won. I told her there was nothing to win, only standards to maintain. 6 months after the confrontation, we sold the penthouse and bought a house in Ahwatukee, a quieter suburb with good schools and neighbors who weren't witnesses to our marital reconstruction. Fresh start, new address, no history embedded in the walls. Dylan adapted better than either of us expected. Kids are remarkably resilient when adults stop lying to them. I told him that mom and dad were learning to communicate better and that sometimes grown-ups need to work harder at being honest with each other. He accepted this with the matter-of-fact wisdom that 8-year-olds possess. On quiet evenings, when Lisa was home by 6 p.m. helping Dylan with homework while I grilled dinner on our new back patio, I almost believed we'd successfully rebuilt something sustainable. But I never deleted those folders from my laptop. Financial evidence, timeline documentation, and corporate response strategy remained in a password-protected directory that Lisa knew existed but couldn't access. And I never forgot the lesson that 2:03 a.m. had taught me. When someone shows you their capacity for elaborate deception, believe them the first time. The text messages, though? I kept screenshots of all 12 of them, plus her response. They served as a reminder of how quickly trust could dissolve and how much effort was required to rebuild it. 1 year later, I accepted a promotion to Regional Vice President, covering the entire Southwest Territory for MedTech Solutions. The new position required relocation to our corporate headquarters in Denver, which felt like the geographic fresh start our marriage needed. Lisa found work with a Denver-based hospitality consulting firm, a smaller company with strict expense policies and no male colleagues under 40. She never suggested dinner meetings anymore, preferring lunch appointments that ended before 2 p.m. We developed new patterns, shared calendars with real-time updates, location sharing that stayed permanently enabled, financial transparency that included weekly reviews of all credit card activity. Some people called it excessive. I called it functional. Dylan thrived in Denver. Better schools, mountain views, and parents who had learned to communicate without deception created a more stable environment than the one we'd left behind in Phoenix. Sometimes, late at night when Lisa was asleep beside me in our new house, I'd wonder if other couples went through similar reconstructions or if we were unique in our systematic approach to rebuilding trust. But mostly I focused on the present, a marriage that functioned on verified honesty rather than assumed faith, a career that rewarded attention to detail, and a son who was learning that actions matter more than words. The 12 text messages from that Tuesday night in Phoenix lived in my phone's archive, along with Lisa's 2:03 a.m. response. I didn't look at them often, but knowing they were there reminded me why precision mattered in all relationships, professional and personal. Sometimes Lisa asked if I'd ever truly forgive her. I told her forgiveness was a choice I made daily, but forgetting was impossible. The evidence would always exist, not as punishment, but as protection. Because when you're married to someone who once built an elaborate system of deception, you learn to appreciate the value of documented truth. And sometimes, late on quiet Tuesday nights, that knowledge felt like the most honest foundation we'd ever built together.